Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays. Yeah.
What is going on, everybody? This is Mike Hughes, and you are listening to Skyline Season 2. I'm really excited about this. I'm pumped up. Obviously, if you were watching our preseason shows, obviously we had interviews with Kiana Traylor, Rebecca Gardner, Courtney Williams, Marina Mabry, and so many others. It was an amazing offseason. We had so much fun, but we're back at it. Today, we're going to be covering the first 5 games of the 2023 WNBA Chicago Sky season, led by Kahleah Copper and James Wade. You know, I wanted to break down these games individually, and I wanted to give you guys an episode for every single game. But one, there was so much going on, and we still have all of our post-game and pre-game interviews, practice interviews. You can find all of those on my social media accounts or on the All Sports, All Plays Network. But really, what I had a difficulty doing was sitting here and overhyping or underhyping a product that we really don't know what they're going to be yet. And after the first 5 games, I was so happy that I waited, because I don't want to sit up here and say what the Chicago Sky ceiling is going to be after 1 game, after 2 games. You know, there's so many different ways it can go. After speaking with James Wade, Rebecca, and so many others, you know, I've really come to the conclusion that this is going to be an uphill battle all season long. Just because of, you know, this how much the league has grown. And I think that's something right now that, you know, the entire league understands. The Aces understand, the Liberty understand, the Mystics understand, from top to bottom. The Dream, I mean, oh my God, have you seen the Dream? But, you know, there's so much going on right now throughout the league. I think one of the biggest things that really, for me, made me want to wait 5 games to break this episode for you guys is, one, it has to be the best version that we could give you. You know, I want to give you guys the best product I can, the best feeling I get from this team. And throughout the first 5 games, we got multiple lineups in the starting 5, which is no fault to James Wade. There were injuries. There were just knick-knack things that were kind of going on with other people, you know, that he is out of his control and out of the players' control. So, you know, we really don't know what this team's ceiling can be yet. And I think if that's what you came here to figure out or hear from me, you're not going to get that, because I think it's still way too early to really have a ceiling on this team and to really just put them in a place to where it's like, what do you think this team can possibly do? Because this team, when they're together, plays very, very well on all cylinders of the ball. First and foremost, obviously, it is a James Wade team, so it's obviously going to be very defensive minded. They're playing amazing ball defensively. I love what they're doing. I mean, it's pretty much the same shit. You know what I mean? Like, and that's not a critique. That's not a negative. You know, that's me just saying, like, they have not missed a beat defensively. You know, you go after them and you do the same things that you taught Courtney, Allie, Candace, and everybody else, and they're doing it to a T. I mean, I love what I'm seeing from these guys right now. It really will come down to, at the end of the day, I feel like, just the roster and health. You know, Isabel Harrison, obviously our girl. You know, we talked to her a lot throughout the offseason, and I was really excited to see her play. She's going to miss several weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, if I'm not mistaken, with a knee injury. And that's huge. That's a huge part of our starting lineup. But again, James Wade does what he does. He finds Morgan Birch, who you could see our interview with Morgan Birch. It's about 42 an hour right now on our YouTube page or on the All Sports, All Plays Network. You could check that out. She tells her story of, you know, why it's taken her so long to actually play a game on the WNBA floor. This is her rookie season, but she's been drafted since 2018. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy, but she's stepping up in so many ways, and I'm loving that. You know, it's just next man up mentality, and that is exactly what we're doing right now, and I'm here for it. But breaking it down before we get into the games and really just talk about everything as a whole, really a couple questions that a couple people had, and I want to break down is, you know, what is the difference between this team and teams of old? You know, obviously the Candace Parker-led teams. This team reminds me so much of a 2020 Chicago Sky team. if that makes sense. Like, I'm not putting them in a ceiling or in a category, but they remind me of a team that's so ready to win, but people just aren't looking at them yet. Like we right now, and me just being in the organization, me just watching them play every single day, and being in that locker room, being in that atmosphere, watching them do what they do. The most important thing to me, and James Wade has nailed it and drilled it into everybody's head, is, and this is paraphrasing, of course, but I'm sure he said it as the same way. We don't give a fuck what anybody else is doing. We don't care that there's a quote unquote super team in the Aces or a super team in the Liberty, or what the Mystics are doing, or what Connecticut's doing, or what anybody else is doing. They're not worried about any of it. They are playing their own style of basketball, and I love it. Like the Sky right now are so comfortable, and I feel like such a huge part of that is the fact that they brought in these veteran savvy players who just have this grit and tenacity to them, where they're playoff experienced players. I mean, we're talking about Marina Mabry, Courtney Williams, Elizabeth Williams. I mean, come on, when we get Isabel Harrison back, I mean, that's going to be a problem. Alana Smith is a bucket, and the Aussie, no one talks about her. No one talks about her, the Queen of Australia. I mean, Rebecca Gardner's back doing the things she does. And I mean, her offense is looking even better and more consistent than it was last year. And defensively, she's still, I mean, to me, a defensive player of the year candidate, 110%. If she was starting on any other team, she'd be having those conversations. But yeah, just looking at that, looking at Ka as a leader, and we have a couple interviews with Ka kind of just discussing that and what it's like being the leader of the team now, going from, you have Chicago Sky legends in Sloot and Alley, and then obviously, Candace Parker comes into the picture, and you have Emma Mieseman in the picture, and Stephanie Dolson was in the picture, and there's just so many other individuals a part of this team. It was her and Azure Stevens that were kind of just, becoming sponges to everybody else around them, and just soaking up as much as they can. And shout out to Z, by the way, because she's doing phenomenal in LA right now. She looks so happy, and I'm so happy for her. I can't wait till we play her. But it's going to be so much fun to see Ka continue to grow as a leader, because she was the heart and soul of, and that engine of that team throughout the finals, when she won Finals MVP in 2021, and even last year against Connecticut. I mean, she even said it feels like, we're just not trying. And she understands that. Like, she's not blind to anything. Like, she keeps it real. And I love that about this team. James Wade not only holds them accountable, but they hold themselves accountable. This team looks phenomenal on paper. At least in my eyes, I feel like it's a complete team. I feel like they do everything so well. The only thing I would say is I think they lack a little bit of size and depth. But that's definitely something that's just going to happen throughout the league. It's not every day that you get a Candace Parker, Brianna Stewart on your team. It is what it is. You know what I mean? But yeah, breaking down game one, the starters for game one were Marina Mabry, Courtney Williams, Kahleah Copper, Morgan Birch in her first WNBA start and her first WNBA game. Congrats, Brooke. And Elizabeth Williams playing against the Minnesota Lynx, Diamond Miller's first WNBA regular season game. This was an away game. The home game doesn't come until game 3. But it was a phenomenal game all around. And if you see me looking down, I'm just looking at the stats for you guys on my phone. Courtney Williams had 5.7 rebounds and 4 assists. She went 2 for 8 from the field, 1 for 5 from 3. Elizabeth Williams in 29 minutes had 14.6 boards and 2 assists. And man, 3 steals, 2 blocks. She was 1 in the plus minus. She was defensively phenomenal. I know James Wade has been giving her the belt back to back to back games. It feels like it's just the Elizabeth Williams belt at this point. But yeah, man, I mean, it's a lot of fun just watching her do her thing. And I feel like that's something not a lot of people take into account, because, name value, Elizabeth Williams, is she a top 3 center in this league? You're not going to look at her and say yes, but, the amount of, I guess you could say the way she reads the floor is the way I want to word that. The way she reads the floor, the way she understands what's going down, the way she breaks down the game is just second to nobody. And she is so intelligent, and she gets such a good feel for the game. And it's something that you can't teach. It's something that you just can't athletically be gifted. That is something that she prides herself on, and I love it. Kahleah Copper had 27 and 5 in 28 minutes. She went 7 for 19 from the field, 2 for 3 from 3, and had 4 for 4 from free throws. She had 2 steals, and I believe Yeah, two steals, and two techs, but it's all right. Marina Mabrey in her Chicago Sky debut after being traded from the Dallas Wings, a slight 5-4-2 coming off that injury. Obviously, it's going to take a little bit of time. We're going to get into it a little bit later, but she dominates later on. But yeah, she did her thing, and I was really happy for her. She had one steal on the game. Courtney Williams had a steal as well. I did forget to point that out. And Morgan Birch in her first WNBA game in 20 minutes had 6, 2, and 4. She went 3 for 7 from the field, 0 for 1 from three. She had 2 blocks. And yeah, I mean, it was just a phenomenal game all around. Rebecca Gardner had 10, 3, and 3 in 22 minutes. She was phenomenal. She had 4 steals in this game. I mean, she's doing her thing. Alana Smith had 15, 4, and 1 off the bench in 20 minutes. That's something that I feel like is going to be very important and critical to this team moving forward. Kristen, I mean, I love everything Kristen's doing right now. She had 2 boards in only 11 minutes, but I'm excited to see what the future lies for her. Anigwe did not play in this game. I think Sika is doing amazing things later on, and we're going to discuss that, but she got a DMP for that. But Dana Evans, 16 minutes, 2 points, and 2 assists. And that's really it we got for the Chicago Sky in game one against Diamond Miller. Diamond Miller had herself a game as well. Obviously, McBride led the team with 12, 5, and 1 and 27. Banham had 25 minutes, 0, 4, and 2. And Diamond Miller in 23 minutes in her WNBA debut had 9, 7, and 2 with 1 block. I mean, it's that for me, it's a very young team. Minnesota's a very young team, and I think it's definitely going to be a team to continue to watch as time continues. But right now, I feel like that's a game you just have to win. You know what I mean? That's not an issue for us right now. That's not something I'm concerned with. If we lose to the Minnesota Lynx, there is an issue. Like that's, and no disrespect, but that's really where I'm at with it right now. But yeah, going into game two, again, like I was saying, this is a big part of why I felt like I wanted to wait the 5 games to actually break down this episode. Game two lineup, very different. You have Courtney Williams, Dana Evans, Kahleah Copper, Morgan Birch, and Elizabeth Williams. We do not have Marina Mabrey in this game. I believe her knee was banged up, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so we're breaking down that game. The BG return in Phoenix. So happy for her. Shout out BG first and foremost. Shout out to everybody throughout that organization that went through what they went through last year during all of that. But it was BG's first game home back in Phoenix. It was electrifying, to say the least. I wish I could have been there. First and foremost, we're going to talk about BG first because BG killed it. In 31 minutes, she had 27 and 10 and 1 assist. And the woman had 4 blocks and 1 steal. I mean, she's doing her thing. She's doing her thing. Those are MVP numbers. Brittany Griner right now on the year is averaging 21 and 8, which to me is screaming MVP personally. And especially if they make a deep playoff run, I think Brittany Griner is on a tear right now. A lot of people questioned if she would even return this year. A lot of people questioned what that's even going to look like. Is she even going to be the same player? And that was far from the truth. You know what I mean? Like BG has come back like she didn't miss a beat. And I love that for her. I'm excited for her. I can't wait to see what the future holds for the rest of this season. But yeah, that's really what it is. Diana Taurasi in 33 minutes had 16, 1, and 6. She went 4 for 4 from the free throw line, 2 for 9 from 3, which is very unlike her. But, Father Time is a crazy thing. So to start off the season kind of slow, it definitely makes sense. But we all know who she is at the end of the day. We expect her to be a MVP caliber player at some point throughout this season. But that's just what it is. She had 0 steals, 5 fouls and 1 block, but everybody else pretty much for the most part besides Sophie Cunningham, also 2, 3, and 2, did not have the brightest of days. But this is a team that I feel like could really win. This is a team that I think everybody needs to pay attention to. They have Brianna Turner. They have so many good pieces to this. Skylar Dickens-Smith is obviously still on maternity leave, so that's something everybody needs to take in consideration, that she might come back at some point during the season. If they can get Skylar back, I think this Phoenix Mercury team could go to the finals, in my personal opinion. I think they can go tick for tack with just about anybody in this league, and I think a huge part of that is obviously going to be led by Brittany Griner. The X Factor is going to be such a huge part of that moving forward, and I'm really excited to see what it could potentially be. I also don't know how I didn't say it, but the Chicago Sky won game 1 against the Minnesota Lynx 77-66. They won game 2 75-69 against the Phoenix Mercury. I was so caught up in the stats, I didn't even bring it up. But yeah, for the Chicago Sky, Courtney Williams in 37 minutes had 12, 6, and 7. She had one foul in this game, pretty straight up. I mean, she was just getting a really good feel for the game. They were electrifying coming out of the tunnel. Her and Ka have this amazing pregame ritual with the rest of the team. It's really exciting. It's really just, it just, and this is with like respect too. Like it feels like high school basketball. Like like that energy that they have coming out of the tunnel. It makes you feel like a kid again. It makes you feel like it's Friday Night Lights, and every single game, whether it's Monday through Friday, they are having a blast. So I love that. Dana Evans in her first start of the year had 13, 4, and 5, 1 for 3 from three, 2 for 3 from the free throw line. 13 points in 34 minutes for Dana. I mean, that's exactly what we asked for her. I know right now, and she's even spoken on it, she has a lot of things going on in her personal life, a lot of loss. So for her to come out here and just ball out the way she has is just phenomenal. And you know, all the credit to the world to her, because it's so much bigger than a game sometimes. And to see her still out there with the team and just being as vocal as she has, really stepping up into being a leader, truly, it's just been phenomenal to watch. To see her go from a bench player, the end of a bench player, to on a championship caliber team, to one of the focal points and veteran leaders and a champion on this team has been phenomenal to see. Kahleah Copper, 28 minutes, 15, 5, and 1. She had one steal in this game and two fouls. Elizabeth Williams, 27 minutes, 10, 8, and 3, doing her thing yet again with two steals in this game. Morgan Birch, 8, 7, and 2, 4 for 6 from the field goal, 0 threes attempted. I loved what I saw from her. Well, only one block in this game, but again, going up against BG, I saw her get blocked by BG as well. I mean, it's definitely a feeling. It's definitely a feeling. Alana Smith in 16 minutes off the bench, 6, 3, and 0, doing her thing with one block in the game. Rebecca Gardner in 13 minutes, 7, 1, and 1, 1 for 5 from the field goal, and 1 for 2 from three. She was doing her thing. She was a little bit quiet defensively, but you know, she really didn't really get the minutes. Anigwe had her debut. Really excited to see her. 13 minutes, 4, 5, and 0, 2 for 3 from the field goal. And that was pretty much it for everybody else. Robin Parks also had 8 minutes played, zeros around the board. But yeah, Robin also, you know, I'm really excited to see what the future holds for Parks as well, because she is a phenomenal, to put it in the terms, I feel like she's like a mom of the team. You know what I mean? Like, she is such a great leader. She does so many things well, and she understands the game so well. She's going to keep everybody in check, whether she's getting the minutes or not, whether she's getting the stats or not. She's definitely going to be a big focal point to this team, and I'm excited for that. Going into game 3, again, another different lineup, but it's the same lineup from game 1. Marina, Courtney Williams, Ka, Morgan, and Elizabeth are in the starting 5 for that one. The Chicago Sky lost this game by 2 against a tough Washington Mystics team, 69-71. Elizabeth Williams had 9, 3, and 1 in 34 minutes with 2 blocks. Courtney Williams had 13, 9, and 5 in 31 minutes, had 2 techs. Kahleah Copper in 28 minutes had 12, 2, and 2. I mean, it's not exactly what you want from Ka, especially when she goes over 3 from 3. She did have 2 steals and 1 block, but again, this is a tough team. Marina Mabry in her first game back in 26 minutes had 19, 5, and 4. She was doing her thing, 2 for 7 from 3 with 2 blocks. Morgan Birch had 2, 2, and 1 in 13 minutes, really doing her thing. And I think, you know, the big part for her is just continuing to be a sponge. And I think just learning as much as she can and just doing what she needs to do to be able to be the best version of her. And that's really what it's going to come down to. My guy Frankie's in the comments right now. He says, "Game day, baby. Let's go, Liberty. Get out of here." But we're definitely going to be at the game today. We're definitely going to be watching. Definitely check us out for some post-game interviews. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see what's going on. I'm excited to see Sloot and Stephanie Dawson back in the cut, Brianna Stewart, Sabrina Unescu, Jonquel Jones. I mean, it's going to be a blast. It's always great to see Sandy as well. But really quickly, before we continue, I do have a couple interviews I want to show you guys. This was post-Phoenix, just discussing with James Wade and Kahleah Copper and Dana Evans about Brittany Griner, Morgan Birch, and so many other things.
Hey guys, congrats on the win, Coach. My first thing I wanted to say is happy belated anniversary. And secondly, I wanted to ask you, about Morgan Birch, because I was talking to her the other day just about her journey in the WNBA and how difficult the first few years were with Dallas, and just continuing to just try to climb back, doing everything she was doing. But for you, what's her importance been with this role in this team, and just her ability to just do whatever's asked of her, especially with Izzy going down?
First of all, let me say thank you. I appreciate it. I think Morgan, since the first day at camp, she's like showed what she's about, and to know her story a little bit and know how sometimes it's about timing. Because she, every time training camp came around, something happened, whether it was COVID, whether it was whatever injury, and we have a lot of confidence in her. I feel like you're going to see her grow leaps and bounds as the season goes on. For one, because she has the opportunity. For two, because she's talented. For three, because her teammates really believe in her. And so you're going to see that growth probably a little bit faster than you would see on any other team where they had a lot of bodies in front of her. We're confident in the type of defender that she is, and she matches our style. She doesn't hold on to the ball. She makes her moves very deliberately. Then she gets rid of it. She's a good screener, gets out of those screens well, and she has nice touch around the rim and the three. So I mean, she has some stuff. It's just now she misses some experience, and that's going to come with time. But as long as she has the faith and belief of staff and of her teammates, like you're going to see it grow leaps and bounds.
And then my follow-ups for Ka. Obviously, it's over 500 days without BG playing organized basketball. First time playing her since the finals. What's that experience like, just watching her do what she does, even missing an entire year, being in the situation she was in, and still having 27 and 11?
I admire her so much. I don't know how she does it, but I definitely got my welcome back when I thought I was going to the room, and she was like, "No, it ain't happening." So it was just like, "Welcome back, BG." But again, I just admire her strength and how she was able to persevere that. So definitely an inspiration to whatever it is that you have going on with your life. I don't think anybody in the WNBA has faced something like that. So it's definitely an inspiration to handle adversity and to really chase what you love to do.
Thanks, guys.
Last two.
And that was like one of the craziest things that we really talked about, especially when it comes to Morgan. It is just understanding what these individuals can be if they just trust the process. And I think that's going to be so important and so adamant to what this season is for the Chicago Sky, because I feel like everybody's bought in. And that's not something you just throw around. That's just not something you say just because, you like this team or you want to be a part of this team. Like, you can feel when people don't want to be here. And that's really what it is, especially in the city, especially in Chicago sports. Like, respectfully, and this isn't to get off topic, but you knew that Jay Cutler was not bought into the Chicago Bears organization. That's just the truth. Like, that's just something you're either ready for that conversation or you're not. Zach LaVine, another guy. Is he bought into this city? Is he bought into this organization, winning championship caliber basketball? I don't know. That is something that I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't seen it. These women believing in James Wade from day one all starts with James Wade. The way he pitched to them during free agency, the way he spoke with them, the way he told them, this is what it was and this is what it's going to be. We're not putting this pressure of you need to be the next Candace Parker, the next Courtney Vandersloot, the next Allie Quigley. We're not putting that pressure on you. We are going to be our own juggernaut. We are going to be our own story. And it's going to be just like that. And I think that's the beauty of it, is not only did James Wade believe in that, Kahleah Copper believed in that, because it's very hard when you go from a championship caliber team to just a completely new roster. I mean, you look at guys throughout history, you look at what Wilson Contreras went through when Rizzo, Bryant, Baez, and everybody else got traded. You look at what so many other teams throughout this world. I mean, come on, let's talk about the Chicago Bears currently. We're looking at the team that just made the playoffs, one of the best defenses ever. Not ever, but, they were up there. They're pretty solid in 2018, and now it's a completely different roster, and there's only a couple guys from that remaining squad on this team. And that's something right now that you look at and you go, okay, look, it's a different team, but it's the same mentality. And James Wade saying that, she just needs to trust in everybody else and trust herself and just continue to learn has been phenomenal. But to get back into game 3, Elena Delle Donne doing her thing, one of the best Sky players I've ever seen play. 25 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists playing against the Chicago Sky. If you don't remember, she was traded for Kahleah Copper, or what would have became Kahleah Copper later on. Definitely worth it for the Chicago Sky, but Elena Delle Donne coming off a horrible back injury, missing the majority of last season. You got to give her flowers. She was doing doing her thing. 1 block, 3 for 5 from three, 10 for 17 from the field goal. Just overall, just being great. Austin had a double double with 15 and 11. Cloud had 1 and 7. Skies had 5, 7 and 4, and Atkins had 6, 3 and 3. Their bench unit put up pretty decent numbers, led by Hawkins with 6, 2 and 0 in 10 minutes. Everybody else had 3 to 4 all over the board. But I'm really excited to see what this team can continue to do and how they're going to continue to move. Walker Kimbrough is obviously somebody that I want to continue watching and somebody that I think could be a big focal point to this team. But obviously, just experience and just continuing to be the best version of her is going to be a big part of that. But, Elena Delle Donne got our number on this one. Got to give her flowers. A Chicago Sky legend, in my opinion. Her, Cynthia Fowles, and Sloot and everybody else. I mean, it's just phenomenal to watch them do their thing every single day. Moving on to game 4, another different lineup. It's something that I feel like we're just going to have this conversation a lot throughout the year. Moving forward, of course, we're going to be doing episodes after every game. We're going to have our post-game interviews after every game. I just wanted to wait the first 5 games to kind of give a synopsis, kind of give a real idea of what this team could potentially be and all the different lineups that we're going to get. Because obviously, if I go out here after, like I've said, if we go out here after game 1 and say they're going to be great, and then game 2 is a completely different lineup, and then let's talk about game 5 in a little bit of what happened with that. You don't want to be inconsistent. You want to continue to just talk about this team and be the best version of you can, especially with this team. So I want to just give the best product I can with that. Going into game 4, Marina Mabry's first game against the Dallas Wings since being traded for multiple first-round picks. You have Marina Mabry, Courtney Williams, Kahleah Copper. Alana Smith got her first start of the year with Morgan Birch going to the bench and Elizabeth Williams on the 5. So looking at that, first of all, we're going to talk about Arike because, oh my God, Arike went crazy. Arike had 27, 5 and 3 in 36 minutes. She was an absolute monster. 5 for 6 from the free throw line, 4 for 12 from the 3, 2 steals. I mean, absolutely doing her thing. Natasha Howard, who I feel like is going to be a big focal point to what makes the Dallas Wings as competitive as they're going to be. 14, 7 and 2 with 2 blocks and 1 steal in this game. Really just overall just being the best versions of themselves. And I think that's something that when you look at this team, Dangerfield had 11, 4 and 5. You're looking at, somebody like Savali had 24, 8 and 0 and 28. I mean, they're just a great squad. They're just a great squad. And a big thing for me, and I don't know how the financials would work. I don't know what really went into that. We can definitely have those conversations later on. But really just understanding what that team would be if Marina was still there. You know what I mean? Like that could be a totally different conversation of how serious you take the Dallas Wings. I think they just kind of, they had to take it. They had to take it. James Wade gave an incredible offer for several first-round picks. But Marina Mabry showed exactly why they shouldn't have gave up on her. In 34 minutes, had 23, 5 and 8. Absolutely killed it. 50% from 3 for 6 with 1 block and 0 steals. Kahleah Copper had 16, 7 and 2 in 32 minutes. Courtney Williams had 12, 11 and 5 for a double-double. Alana Smith had 14 and 12 and 6, almost had a triple-double. Killing it, obviously, on the boards, killing it offensively in her first start of the year. Courtney Williams had a quiet night, 2 and 1. That was really it in 24 minutes, 1 block and 2 steals. But defensively, she was there, and I love that. But looking at it, really breaking down what this team could potentially be and the way they're going to continue to move. Cone had 10, 6 and 2 in 23 minutes. Dana Evans had 14, 1 and 0 in 22. Anigwe had 5 minutes, 3, 1 and 1. Rebecca Gardner did not play. Morgan Birch did not play. Isabel Harrison did not play, and Parks did not play, all on the injury list. And Ruthie as well is on maternity leave return. So hopefully we'll have Ruthie back very soon. I know she's been very, very into the mom life lately, just enjoying it and just living it up, so I'm so happy for her. Congratulations once again. And I can't wait to get her back. Her and Dana's connection, it's a beautiful thing. We got a baby Skywalker on the team now. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, game 4 was just one of those games, man, that you look at and you go, if you're a fully healthy team and you win this game, it's like it is what it is. When you're missing several key players, one of your best defenders in Rebecca Gardner, and you still win 94-88, I mean, that's just you have the palm by your hand right there. The sun is in your hand. Like I love this for them. This is exactly what we need from this team. And I'm really excited to see it moving forward. But another reason, again, like I said, we had to wait the first 5 games to see everything. Um, Breaking that down in game 5 against the Atlanta Dream, the starting 5 was Marina Mabrey, Courtney Williams, Kahleah Copper, Alana Smith got a start again, and Elizabeth Williams. Breaking down this game, there were so many injuries on the injury report list that it was just crazy. It was crazy. The Chicago Sky lose this game 83-65, our worst game of the season so far. Definitely not the way you want to go out. But when you look at the injury list, Morgan Birch, Rebecca Gardner, Elizabeth Harrison. It's messed up, man. It's really messed up. But the Atlanta Dream really just played their heart out. They're a young team. They have so many young guns on this team, and I think it's going to be really excited. Ryan Howard had 24 and 1 in 29 minutes. McDonald had in 28 minutes, 8-3 and 2. Gray had 13-4 and 1 in 27. Parker had 21 minutes, 10-8 and 1. That's one of those ones that you really look at and you just go, if Parker can continue to be consistent, I think this Atlanta Dream team can be very, very consistent. She's averaging 15 points on the year right now, absolutely crushing it. She had 2 steals in this game. That's really all you can ask for. And Coffee had 5, 8, and 4. 13 points in 19 minutes off the bench for Jones. Billings had 9 points and 3 rebounds in 16 minutes. They're really doing their thing. And from a Sky's perspective, Courtney Williams in 28 minutes had 4, 7, and 4. Kahleah Copper in 28 had 10, 4, and 0. Marina Mabrey had 10, 3, and 4 in 26. Alana Smith had 3, 6, and 1 in 21. Elizabeth Williams had 6, 6, and 1 in 20. Dana Evans 11, 2, and 5. Anigwe had 10, 7, and 1. A great rebounding game for her in 20 minutes. Parks had 5, 1, and 0 in 16. And Cohn had 6 and 8 in 14. So, overall, when you look at this roster, you think if they can just continue to just gel together and be the best versions of themselves, I think we're going to be in a really good spot moving forward. Tonight, obviously, like I said earlier, we are going to be there for game 6 against Courtney Vandersloot, Stephanie Dolson, Sabrina Unescu, Jonquel Jones, and obviously Brianna Stewart. So it's going to be crazy playing against Sandy again. First time we played them since we eliminated them out of the first round last year. The New York Liberty completely look different. It's a completely different team. Han is still not getting as much playing time as I would like her to get. You're damn near 7 feet tall and you're not getting played as much. It's kind of wild, especially with how dominant she is in her hometown. So that's something that I think is going to continue to build as time goes on. I'm excited about this matchup. I'm excited about the challenge. There's so many different ways it can go. Obviously, if you're going into this just thinking we're going to lose, then that's what's going to happen. But if they go into this with the mentality that they can beat any team in this league like they have been, I think it's going to be really interesting. I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think the traffic home is going to suck because Taylor Swift is in town. So definitely, if you're going to the game tonight, be there very early because I know the Taylor Swift concert starts probably around the same time. But the game is at 5 p.m. tonight. It's going to be really exciting. We're going to be there with pregame and postgame interviews, reporting live from Wintrust Arena. I appreciate you guys waiting on me, giving me a shot. I promised I would be back. I just wanted to give it some time before we really break down an episode and just overhype or discredit this team completely. But what I'm seeing so far from this team and this organization is that nothing's changed. The roster's changed, but the mentality, the grit, everything else, championship mentality is still there and still alive. So I'm really excited for this 2023 season. Hopefully we can get a couple individuals back very soon with Isabel Harrison and so many others. But with that being said, you could check out all our post-game interviews either on the All Sports All Plays Network, or obviously you could follow me on TikTok or Instagram at theshy.kid. We have all of our Chicago Sky and WNBA post-game interviews there, especially on Instagram, theshy.kid. I appreciate you guys for listening. This is Mike Hughes. You are listening to Skytown. Peace.